was on Pepto-Bismol's website. And I have a section there that says frequently asked questions. I clicked on it. The first thing that popped up was, how do I open the bottle? She's like, who's dumb enough that they can't open a bottle of Pepto-Bismol, but smart enough to use the internet as a problem-solving resource? Like, oh, this bottle's pretty tricky. I know, let me just boot up the old internet. Oh no, the server's down. I'm gonna have to reroute the network. And just hack the mainframe, download some security files, and boom, we're in. Oh, twist then pull up. I think I was just gonna smash against a rock and let the sweet pink goose down my throat tube. Recently I've been trying to learn magic, not for performance purposes, but for self-defense. So I feel it'd be very hard to mug a magician, you know? It's be like, alright man, hand over your wallet. Oh, you mean this wallet? Booker, hey! Come on man, I'm not messing around, I got a gun here. Oh, you mean that bouquet of flowers? Shazam. So I've achieved a lot of my life goals, which sounds very impressive until you find out what my life goals were. For example, is one I did last year is eat at a Chick-fil-A. Did that. Cross that right off the list. Is right underneath give Blade Runner a second chance. And then right above see a real life goat in real life. I'm still trying to do. I've always had low expectations, even like when I was a kid. I remember I told like my mom, I was like, I really love animals, I'm gonna work in a zoo. And she was like, oh, are you gonna be like a vet or an animal doctor or something? I was like, no, I don't wanna do that. I just wanna like maybe be like the guy that cleans up. Like even as a kid, I was like, oh, I don't know, doctor, you gotta go to school and probably cost some money. I thought just pick things up. Just make sure. I'll wash a giraffe's butt or something. Do this. This really annoys me. I hate whenever someone gives you very obvious advice, you know? Like the other day I told my friend, I was like, I think I'm gonna quit my job. And they're like, whoa, 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 hold on. Don't quit your job. If you do that, you're not gonna get a paycheck anymore. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Are you telling me that if I quit my job, they're not gonna pay me anymore? Is this a new thing? Did this just start? Is this recently? I don't know. I'm a pretty popular guy in the office. I think they might keep paying me. Give me a lot to think about. I'm gonna mull this over while I go to McDonald's for dinner. I'm like, oh, watch out, McDonald's, that's unhealthy for you. I'm like, oh, where do you get your information? It's crazy. So, I didn't quit my job, but I did go on a leave of absence. I went for like the mental stuff like depression, anxiety, and that sort of thing. And they actually ended up putting me on workman's comp, which that's weird. Like I didn't know you could get that just for being sad. I was like had to like drop a toaster on your pelvis or get bit by a negligent bat or something. But like no, you just get it for crying in the shower every day. I told my friend I was going to be on workman's comp, and he got really angry. He was like, oh, great, so my taxes are going to pay for you to do nothing? And I was like, yeah, that is pretty messed up. We're friends. You just give me the money up front. Just give me that scratch. So I'm actually going back to work on Monday. It was hard, though, because when I took the leave out, they wouldn't let me come back to work until like I called a psychiatrist and got an appointment, and she said it was okay. But I don't know if you ever tried to like get an appointment with a psychiatrist. It is more depressing than the actual depression. because it's just constant rejection, like, we don't take your insurance, we're not taking new clients, blah, blah, blah. And I had to call my insurance. They gave me a list of like doctors to call, but it wasn't helpful. Like the very first one that I called, you know, they picked up, they're like, this is a doctor's office, and I was like, oh, thank you. I don't even know where to start, so I'll just begin. I have been really depressed and stressed, and I don't know, sometimes I just don't even know what the point of life is and why to keep going on. I just feel sad every day, and so I was wondering if I could set up an appointment. And the lady was like, this is a pediatrics office. I felt very embarrassed, so I was just like, oh no, I'm just a very articulate yet very sad 10-year-old. I don't think I utilized my time wisely, because I really had like plans while I was on this leave. I was like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, like update my resume, I'm gonna look for new jobs, I'm gonna exercise. I didn't do any of that crap. What I did do, though, is I researched monsters. I spent an abnormal time researching monsters. It was more feasible that I could like prove the existence of the Dover Demon than it was for me to get like a new job. But my favorite one that I researched was the Goat Man. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Goat Man. I'll tell you about it real quick. Half man, half goat. Let's usually like kill teenagers while they're making out. Been sighted in Maryland. There's a good reason to not go to Maryland if you're on the fence about it. My favorite though is the theories behind the Goat Man. Like people theorize, because he's been spotted around these like science laboratories, so people think, oh, it's probably a scientist who was experimenting with goat DNA and then used it on himself and became the Goat Man. Which there's one flaw in that story, and that is that no scientist would ever be experimenting with goat DNA. Like, what would the point of that be? Just like, that'd be like the worst origin of a horror movie villain ever. Just like some guy like, oh, they laughed me out of med school, but I'll show them. As soon as I perfect this formula, humans will have thicker, longer goatees than ever before. So I have his like wife yelling at him from like up the stairs, like, honey, come to bed. He's like, oh, away with you, woman. Mankind will eat tin cans. So I recently started playing D&D, Dungeons & Dragons for you nerds. I don't know what that stands for. And when I say I just started playing it, I don't mean like I started a new game recently. I mean, I just started playing it for the first time at 25, which is kind of weird. Usually you do nerdy things, then get cooler doing it in reverse. Getting nerdier as I get older. But Dungeons & Dragons is great, but I don't think I really am that good at it, really like fulfilling its potential. Because one of the great things about it is that like you create this character and it can be like so different from you. So like I created this guy that I was like, oh, this is gonna be like this tall, handsome, quick-witted, adventurous guy that saves the day. But then like 5 minutes into the game, I just realized that like the guy reverts to me. It's like the dungeon master is like, oh, you enter a bar and there's a beautiful lady at the counter. She's giving you the eye. It looks like she might have information about your quest. Would you like to go up to her? I'd be like, no, I'm good. Maybe if she comes over to me and I can think of something cool to say, but you know, I'm just gonna chill out here. Maybe is there a game within this game I can play while you guys are? This happened to me the other day. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. You ever have someone tell you about a present they almost bought you? I was talking to my friend. He was like, oh, hey man, I almost got you something the other day. It's like, yeah, I was in the store and like I had it in my hand. This this thing. I was like, oh, this would be perfect for Tim. It's on sale for $5. And they're like, I don't know, I didn't end up getting it, but I thought about you. It's like, well, I guess it's the thought that counts. I mean, literally, because that's all you got me, a thought. It was, you know, thank you for almost getting me something. Remind me to almost thank you. It's like, I think it's like very unfair, because I think what the person's trying to do is like, they want to do a nice thing and get credit for it without actually doing the nice thing. It's like life doesn't work that way. You can't be a good guy like that. You'd just be like, if I was like, man, you know, I was watching TV the other day and I saw one of those commercials for like those starving kids, and like really made me think about myself. I felt bad for them. I looked at my house. I was like, look at all this crap I spend my money on. I don't need any of this. I'm gonna help out these kids. I'm gonna stop buying all this useless junk for a week. I'm gonna set aside money. I'm gonna send these kids like $100 every day. Or every week, maybe. Not a millionaire, but then like, you know, your friend's like, oh, it's really nice of you to send $100 every week to these kids. Like, well, I didn't end up doing it. I thought about it for like a good 30, 45 seconds though. Then, you know, decided not to. Then I went online and I bought new shoes because my shoes came untied, so. That's humanitarian of the year. Because an award. I recently was hanging out with a friend, and he likes to do barroom trivia. Goes out to the bars and they have trivia nights. And he gets very cocky about it. So he always thinks it's going to help him get laid, you know? Be like, hey, there's a lot of women here tonight. Maybe if I win, I won't be going home alone. It's like, what woman is going to come up to you and be like, hey, aren't you the fella that remembered all the names of the discontinued sandwiches from McDonald's? I don't suppose we could have sex. I like to imagine just like two girls like hanging out, being like, hey Elizabeth, you know what I hate? How you can never find a guy who remembers when Get Shorty was released. Maybe someday. So I was hanging out with this friend, and he's a guy that like has sex a lot. So like I figured, you know, maybe like, oh, maybe we'll hang out and we'll go meet some ladies or something. So like I went to his house, and you know, as soon as he answered the door, I was like, hey, guess what, man? We are getting laid tonight. And then he just looked at me, and I was wearing like a Hellboy t-shirt and a Superman hat. And he was like, not in that hat and that shirt, you're not. So then I said, well, guess what, man? We are getting pizza tonight. I don't want to brag, you guys, but I got the hottest piece of pizza. There was. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I'll end with this last joke real quick, you guys. Same friend talking about, he recently went on a vacation. He took a trip to Las Vegas, and he really wanted me to go, but I couldn't afford it. But he's very insistent on it. He's like, oh, come on, man, just be $1,000. Just cost $1,000. $1,000. That's it. Just $1,000. That's $1,000, right? $1,000. And I was like, oh, $1,000? Is that it? That might as well have cost a mermaid. So I know to me, like $1,000 and a mermaid are pretty much the same thing. Like I've heard about each one, but I've never seen either of them in real life. Whenever I hear someone talk about it, it's always a little suspicious. It's always like, oh, I've seen $1,000. It's like, well, are you sure you're just worn out at sea, lonely, and you saw a bunch of matted up $5 bills? Thank you guys very much.